Climbing surely isn't the easiest, but what about champions that would help you climb and just overall make it easier for you to beat up enemies in your elo range? Then welcome to our climbing tier list for the current patch, and before we hop into the first champion choice, let's talk about our question of the day. Do you play with chat turned on? And if yes, tell me why. For me personally, I just want to remove chat every game because most of the things I'm reading just confuse me and just make me slightly salty about what people believe is right, and whenever I read something like this, my immediate response in my brain is like, huh? How? Then I would be losing focus and can't really focus on the game, so to avoid this, I personally just turn it off because there's no point of having it turned on in the first place. For our first champion of this list, we have Darius in the Baron lane. Darius has been the recipient of a small buff last patch, and Darius as a champion loves to deal with people that have no clue what it's doing. If you think about the ladder as a ladder of people improving gradually, you have a champion with Darius that loves to punish people that have no idea what Darius is doing or how much he can do. If you view Darius as a champion, you will always have like a certain race with this champion. The race to 5 stacks of his passive to then dunk the enemy into oblivion. With Darius in the lower elo ranges, it's super easy to get that done because people don't respect certain trading patterns or are not even aware of the trading patterns. Going in for an extended chase against the Darius, allowing him to reach 5 stacks is like asking to die. So to avoid this, people would normally entertain different trading patterns, but as I told you before, people don't know about those. Especially when it comes to teamfight, a lot of people will give Darius 5 stacks to then dunk the entirety of the team. And this is something that happens all the time, and trust me, it happens way too many times. But for Darius as a champion, there are a few beginner tips that you should always consider doing. Rather than just casting your second ability for fun, you should input an auto attack and then use your second ability as an auto attack cancel to get that one done and in another attack. Another thing you have to do is being aware of the fact that your first ability heals you if you hit big jungle monsters. So whenever you're on the way to lane and just need a little bit of healing because you just engaged into a fight beforehand, you could use your first ability as you pass by those camps to get a little bit of that healing in. The last little tip you have to know about is about Gargoyle's Stoneblade. Normally Gargoyle's Stoneblade would reduce the damage you deal by a lot, but with your ultimate, since it's true damage, it doesn't really matter. Therefore, stacking up to 5 stacks, beforehand all you have to do is pop the Gargoyle to allow you to live long enough to stack up to 5 stacks, and then you can dunk people all around. And with the changes to Conqueror, your ultimate is even going to heal you, because Conqueror now heals you from true damage as well. Lovely. And this is our full tier list for the Baron lane. For our next pick of this patch, we have a Rammus in the jungle role. Many people will laugh about Rammus as a champion, but Rammus isn't even that bad as people believe he is. He has quite a decent jungle clear, and he can fully clear the jungle in under 2 minutes and 10 seconds. On top of that, he features one mechanic that is the bane of the existence for enemy champions in the lower elo brackets: not paying attention to what is happening on the map. Rammus is super fast in rolling around the map and therefore having a lot of options to gank people continuously. With the idea of fully clearing your jungle for the first time and then playing off your first reset and then going for constant dives or constant ganks, it's something that will pay off a lot of times because people don't pay attention, nor can they really estimate the speed your champion comes with. Similar to a Nunu, people will die to you on cooldown, and even if you don't really get to them, you still have another gap closer in the form of your ultimate ability to then taunt them in place, slow them down, and let your teammates kill them. Also, when it comes to diving, your champion is more than just durable, but with that, you will tank a lot of tower shots. And don't be afraid of champions such as Lee Sin and other of that kind, because if they fight you, trust me, your damage in the early game with Aftershock and your second ability is super high. They'll literally get themselves killed when they're trying to hit you. And this is our full tier list for the jungle role. For our mid lane pick of this patch, we have Yone. Many people would say that Yone is not the easiest champion to play, but Yone is relatively easy and super strong as a champion. This champion is the easy mode Yasuo that allows you to impact the game from any point as long as you know a few things. Use your third ability to put yourself into no-risk situations to then engage with your ultimate into the enemy team once they aligned in a perfect scenario. To make sure that your ultimate always hits, it's beneficial to have your first ability stacked up and ready to have the knock-up version of it, and then use your first ability into the enemy team, knock them up, and then cast your ultimate ability right into them. That way you can guarantee your ultimate to hit and deal even more damage, because once they are attacked by your ultimate ability, you can cast another auto attack, your second ability, and your first ability again to deal even more damage. And then once this is done and you're afraid of dying immediately, you can just snap back with your third ability. It's that easy. For laning, most of the time you can just think about, okay, what can I do during the laning phase? Your champion is a lovely champion when it comes to trading. Your second ability has super high range and will outtrade most of the enemy opponents, and unless they know exactly what they're doing, you will go unpunished. It's like the Kale version of WildRift, basically. Many people still don't know how to trade, which is the reason why Kale has such a high win rate. They don't know how to abuse lane, how to punish people, and how to just overall play the role. So you'll get away with mostly everything. And if you get away with something on Yone, you'll scale super heavily into the later stages of the game and start one-shotting people. And this is our full tier list for the mid lane. Next on this list comes Corki. As previously mentioned in the high elo tier list, Corki is a champion that scales and doesn't really have to interact with people. Corki also features something that is a bane to deal with in solo queue: poke damage. In solo queue, most people have no idea what to do against poke damage, nor will they draft champions that are dedicated to deal with poke damage. With that in mind, Corki will just dish out DPS and poke damage before the fight even starts, and allow your team to win the fight before it even happens. Especially with an ability called the Special Delivery, Corki can influence fights around objectives very early on, which is a big thing during the lower elo brackets. You can influence and just win the fight by just a good or well-placed package and just burn or barbecue the entirety of the enemy team alive and just see them burn and enjoy your time. Another thing that is very nice about Corki is the fact that he has insane wave clear. His first ability and his ultimate ability and even his third ability can be used to clear waves consistently and therefore rarely be at the threat of being dove, which is super nice as an AD carry, because other AD carries, for example Vayne, struggle a lot with wave clearing capabilities and therefore suffer getting dove a lot more often than any other AD carry with the capability of clearing waves. And this is our full tier list for the AD carry role. Last but surely not least on this list, we have a Lulu. Lulu as a champion has been one of the most problematic champions in this game. Lulu can be viewed as another item. Sounds kinda weird, right? A champion that is an item. But Lulu as a champion turns an AD carry into a monster. Plus, it allows them to play suboptimally, because she can just shield them and ult them and grant them even more damage while keeping them alive. The biggest issue that really nobody is talking about ever is Lulu's passive ability, Summon Pix. This lovely Pix will be attached to any target of her choice by casting a spell on them. With this on your ally, the ally will deal the bonus on hit damage with every auto attack. Now if you think about a champion that attacks a lot, such as for example Lucian, Akshan, Jinx, Corki, or like any AD carry you have on your mind, you'll quickly realize how much damage this passive ability adds to the champion. Those trading patterns, which then can be established by just running at the enemy and hitting them, or just safely scaling into the late game, will hit a critical mass point where you'll just dumpster down anything in your way, because people don't know what to specifically do against you. They don't know how to target the specific champion, nor hunt them down because they're too far away. And that way, Lulu will grant an AD carry so much bonus damage that nothing the enemy does will be enough to get them killed or survive the onslaught. It is very problematic, and honestly, many more people should look into that. And that is our full tier list for the support role. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and obviously come back for more content.